some of the wealthiest men in the world are divorced, sure. But that's not success to me. So actually take the time to like, what does success look like for us?
For us. And that's the beauty with that question is it looks different for everybody.
Yeah. But if you're not careful, and if you don't decide and actually think about what does it look like for us, culture's going to tell you what it looks like, and it's not going to be anything that you actually wanted.
100%. Yeah, and that's the recipe for a miserable life.
And that's how you end up divorced with a lot of money in your bank account. Like, who freaking cares?
Well, the guy that says that's successful.
I don't think anybody thinks that's successful. I think people are...
The problem with that definition of success, it's ungodly. So it's like, if your definition of success is against the biblical, the Bible, then that's the wrong definition.
Yes. Well, it's ungodly, but it's also very unfulfilling.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, you're kind of chasing an empty treasure chest at that point. It's like, what do you want that for? And welcome back to another episode of the Married with the Mugicas podcast. We are so excited to be here. We are Richard and Haley Mugica. We have been married for 13 years. We have 4 kids. They range from 11 to 6. And we homeschool, and we run a home-based business, and we are very big in our homesteaders and all of the other fun home things.
Yes.
We're very passionate about marriage and just want to see marriages thrive and want to see people enjoy marriage and pursue marriage. And that's why we're here. That's why we started this.
That's right.
What is our slogan here on this show, babe?
Building a marriage you love coming home to.
Yes.
Aren't you impressed by that?
That was good.
Yeah.
A little over a year in.
And it was fast. I just spit it out like bam.
You got it.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
A little over a year.
Yeah, thank you. Aren't you impressed?
I am.
Yeah.
So how are you? How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Yes. Hair's thickening.
I know. Can you guys just take a minute and appreciate Richard's hair? Can I tell them?
Yeah, tell them whatever. Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, what would you tell them?
Richard started losing his hair at like 30.
Oh, no. I mean, it was a slow recede. I was like receding. Slow recede. I was like receding.
And he actually got hair transplant surgery a couple of years ago. It did really well. And then we started noticing like it was thinning again. So he started using Rogaine like 6 months ago, and that stuff works. Like, it really works.
Dude,
so we're going to take a second to appreciate your beautiful thick head of hair.
Yes. Yeah. Now, it takes a while to kick in. So, ladies, if you have husbands that are losing, it doesn't work if you've already lost the hair. Yeah, if the hair's gone, like, you're probably not going to get it back. But if it's thinning, then that's the magic sauce. Yeah. And the magic sauce is not necessarily Rogaine. The magic sauce is something called minoxidil. And you want 5% minoxidil. Okay. Yes. And then that you just rub on your head, and then it just does its magic.
And it really works. So Rogaine, if you hear this and you want to sponsor the podcast,
Rogaine,
we're a big fan.
Living proof,
Living proof. Anyways, so we have had a very exciting week over in our neck of the woods.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
So we live in Southern California. We're obviously in like the peak of summer. It's hot and dry. So the other day we're at home and we got this like new beautiful American flag that Rich was about to go put on the flagpole.
I still didn't put that up.
I know. And he walks outside and he's like, babe, look at this fire. And they're like less than a mile from our house. There's like this wildfire starting, and we live like not out in the boonies, but we live like, there's a lot of brush. It's not like a neighborhood, right?
Yeah, it's...
So he's like, babe, look at this fire. And sure enough, there's this fire that just starts like raging, and we ended up getting evacuated and having to leave. And we took all the dogs to your parents' house. It was very hectic.
Yes.
So then we ended up just taking the kids to Raging Waters for the day yesterday to kind of get away. And it was so fun. And then we were able to go home again last night, which was really nice. And our home is fine, and the firefighters did a great job. But
yeah, it's kind of freaky when you look over and you're like, fire. And you're like, whoa, that's close.
It was really close. And they've got the like air tankers flying right overhead. And like as we're driving down the hill, because we're like, okay, it's time to go. We need to get out of here. There's just police cars and fire trucks and oh my gosh, it like felt kind of apocalyptic.
Yeah, I know, right? And then they what did they do? Blockade the road, and then nobody could go up. And then I'm like, well, dude, what if you have to go and get like your horses? You got to get your kids. You got to. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was crazy. But
eventful.
And I mean, firefighters are so amazing, but literally not a single structure was lost, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was actually
when the fire started. I mean, it was like we literally thought we were going to watch it burn down our neighbor's house, like that.
Oh yeah, it was on
close.
Like Donkey Kong. There's no doubt about it.
Why are you so weird?
Is that a weird phrase?
Yes.
It's a lot of people use that phrase.
Do they?
On like Donkey Kong.
A lot of like 15-year-old boys probably use that phrase.
Hey,
Okay.
That's our era. Donkey Kong. You ever play Donkey Kong?
I never played Donkey Kong.
That's fun.
Is he from Mario? Donkey Kong?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Donkey Kong. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so today's episode is a little bit of a throwback for us, but it's new for you guys. So I'm excited to introduce this concept to you guys. So I'm going to give you a little background on where it came from first. So Richard, years ago, probably 8 years ago, used to host a podcast on his own called Onward Men. And it was really just about like encouraging men to be good men, basically. And it was a 5 days a week podcast, like 20, 30-minute episodes.
Yep.
And he used to focus on what he used to call the 5 M's of manhood. Mm-hmm. And so we'll go over what the 5 M's are. I don't want to spoil it quite yet, but we're kind of taking that concept and revamping it for marriage, the 5 M's of marriage, the 5 conversations and the 5 focuses that every marriage needs to be talking about and be focused on to see growth, right? Because happy marriages, healthy marriages aren't just a result of people that love each other. Every marriage starts that way, right? But
100%. Yeah.
It takes a lot of intentionality and a lot of conversation and discipline. And so that's what we're talking about.
As everybody knows, is figuring out. If you don't know yet, you're going to find that out. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where the concept came from. So do we want to tell them all the 5 M's up front, or should we just hit one M at a time?
I would just do one M at a time.
One M at a time. Yeah. We're going to keep the suspense.
Keep the suspense going, man.
Okay. So our first M, and this is something that we talk about a lot just individually on the podcast, is mindset.
Yeah, 100%.
The first M is mindset. And that is not only how are you doing mentally and like mental health, which we're not, whatever, that's not like the main focus. It's more so like, what are we choosing to focus on? What is our mindset? How are we looking at what's in front of us?
Yeah, 100%.
And that can change everything.
Yeah.
I remember, oh my gosh, more than a decade ago, we were sitting in church. Were you going to give this example?
No, I wasn't. No, I was not.
We were sitting in church, and just to make a point, the pastor took Mary Poppins, like the trailer of Mary Poppins, which is like a cute, sweet movie, and he covered it with like horror music and stuff, and like put like red light over it, and made it look like Mary Poppins was a horror film.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was wild.
And so that just goes to show you with perspective will change like what you're seeing in front of you.
Oh, 100%.
What does it say? Perception is reality.
Yeah, perception is reality.
And so how you choose to look at things is so, so important.
100%.
And that is how you choose to look at your spouse, how you choose to look at your home, how do you choose to look at the situation that you're in? How are you going to choose to look at that?
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times like this applies in marriage, but it also applies like just in our home in general, because our kids have a hard time just being grateful. Mm-hmm. I mean, we all have a hard time being grateful, but like we have to remind the kids over and over. It's like, no, think about this differently. Instead of like, oh my gosh, it's so hot at Raging Waters. It's like, oh no, thank you, Jesus.
Please.
Like I'm here and we're having fun. Like we have this moment together, So,
well, your sister actually shared a really good concept with us yesterday that I thought was really, really interesting.
I was going to actually go into that, but you probably remember better than I do.
Well, it was really good because she was saying, we all have a tendency to complain, right?
Yeah.
Just as an example, we went to Italy, right? You're in freaking Italy, right?
Yeah.
And we're complaining about, oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's like, hold on a second. Yeah. So her concept was the 3 thank gods. Whenever you have a complaint, force your brain to think about the 3 thank gods, which in that situation was like, oh my gosh, thank God we're all as a family here in Italy.
Yeah.
Thank God your parents have been married for 50 years and wanted to bless all of their family by taking them on this beautiful trip.
Yeah.
Thank God we're able to walk and be outside and enjoy God's nature. For every complaint, find the 3 thank gods. And I just thought that was a really good perspective. I'm going to try that with the kids. Like, why do I have to empty the dishwasher? Well, hey, thank God, you have a dishwasher. You had food that you got to eat, and you have a family that you get to clean up after. Like, thank God.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a really neat way. And that can literally like reprogram your brain to see the good instead of the complaint.
It does. Well, we talked about that concept of like neural plasticity. Mm-hmm. Now it's like a super like scientific term, but like there's neural pathways in the body that fire. And every time like you're negative, you're making a neural connection. And so what that neural connection does is that the next time something happens, it's easier, right? Your body's always looking for like the easiest path, and you want to reshape those neural pathways to go more positive, right? Because negativity will come, right? It's so much harder to be positive, but you can start rewiring yourself for that,
Well, one of my favorite podcasts is this podcast called Homemaker Chic, which it's obviously a homemaker's podcast, but their whole premise is like, oh gosh, what is their catchphrase? I can't remember. Something about the art of homemaking. I listened to it this morning.
Oh, you did?
But they were talking about this. They had this one viewer who was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with her husband while she was building her house, and like how like miserable she hated this apartment, which is this 1 bedroom was making her nuts, and how she was able to really change that to like, okay, I'm going to paint the walls. I'm going to do what I can do, but like, I'm going to enjoy this situation that we're in, because thank God I have this house that we're building. Thank God I still have my husband that I get to live with. Whatever the 3 thank Gods for her were.
Yes, 100%.
But like, you have to take whatever situation you're in and just see how you can enjoy it.
You have to. I got advice from a mentor one time. He said, the greatest skill that you could possibly have is to be in a good mood without having a reason to be in a good mood. And he's like, if you think about it, how many times are we in a bad mood without any reason to be in a bad mood? We just like are in a bad mood. We're like, oh, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, why not just be in a good mood for no reason, right? It's a much better life to have. And I was like, oh, dude, that's a great skill to have, because it is a skill. Like, you have to retrain your brain to think differently. And so another thing too, I was going to talk about, because mindset is such an amorphous word. It's like, what does it mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't know what mindset means,
Yeah.
So I like this definition of mindset, and you can apply this in your kids, your marriage, whatever. But mindset is the collection of beliefs and interpretations that either produce or prevent productive behavior.
Produce or prevent. Oh, yeah. I like that.
And so I think it's really important to understand, like, when anybody says mindset, it's like, oh, I'm a mindset coach. Oh, I'm going to help you change your mindset. Really, at the end of the day, all mindset, like, what that means is we are trying to change ourselves to produce a better behavior. Because at the end of the day, I do believe that actions is what produces the fruit in your life, right? You can have a great mindset and do poor actions. And does that mean you? Yeah, but then it's like, well, if you're doing all this mindset work, but your actions aren't changing, you're doing the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because all mindset is doing is trying to change your behavior in marriage, right? Instead of getting up and like not saying hi to your wife, you get up and like kiss your wife, right? And the more you do that, the more you've like, oh, you're now working on your quote unquote mindset. It's producing a better behavior.
Well, and it's not necessarily even the action of kissing your wife. It's the action of, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be grateful for my wife. So then kissing is just the natural next step, because you already woke up grateful and happy to see her. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So, it's like the core thing of marriage is, how do I produce better behavior? How do I do things differently? Actually do things, right?
Yeah. And
it's like the person that's like sitting on the couch like, man, I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to get to the gym. It's like, you can think it, you can love it, you can want it, you can be motivated, but until you do it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do the action.
Well, we've talked before about the be, do, have versus the do, have, be.
Yeah, for sure.
And so everyone wants to be the thing before they have to do the things in order to have the things, right? So I want to be successful so that I can do what successful people do, so I can have what successful people have.
Yeah,
and that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
What you have to do is you have to do the things that successful people do way before you're successful. So then you'll be successful, and then you can have the things. But you can't be it until you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, if you want a happy marriage, you can't just sit there and think, gosh, I want a happy marriage. You have to be the person that creates the happy marriage.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you'll have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not just going to fall in your lap.
Yeah. And it's funny, because a lot of people, like, especially in marriage, you're like, well, I just don't feel motivated, right? I don't really feel motivated. Let's just say sex. I don't feel motivated to have sex. It's like, oftentimes what I find is that just doing it creates the motivation, right? Like, I don't feel motivated to go to the gym, but as soon as you start just lifting the first weight, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm kind of like, I'm want to do this.
Well, and motivation is kind of a ridiculous concept.
It is. I don't like motivation.
It's discipline.
I know.
You need to be disciplined.
Yeah, motivation sucks.
I don't always want to go to the gym.
I don't like the motivation word.
Yeah, forget waiting till you're motivated. Yeah. Forget that. Just be disciplined and do it anyway.
That word shouldn't exist.
It shouldn't. I don't like that word.
It's so short term. It's fleeting.
Well, and it's so like emotional.
Yeah. It's like I watched the Rocky movie. I feel so motivated to go conquer life. And then like 3 hours later, you're like, oh, dude.
The motivation's gone.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I need to watch Rocky again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So with each of these M's, we have a list of questions for you to talk to your spouse about. Regarding each M. So our first M, as we said, is mindset. So if you have a pen and paper, or I don't know, however techie people do it, I'm going to list the questions that you can write down and then talk with your spouse later.
Maybe we can put them in show notes.
Ooh, okay. So the first question is, what's been weighing on you lately?
Yeah.
Second question is, what's bringing you joy? Third question, how can I pray for you? And fourth question, is there anything you've been carrying alone? So those are the questions to kind of get this conversation going with your spouse. Make sure that you're talking about this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so our next M.
I like it.
Ready for the next one? So
I've never been more ready.
We call this M muscles because it's an M and we love a good alliteration.
Yeah. First one's mindset, then muscles.
Mindset, then muscles. So muscles obviously is not about getting a six pack. I don't believe everybody needs a six pack, but it's about your health, how you're stewarding your body, energy, all of those kinds of things. So that's what our next one is.
Yeah. Good stuff. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that we just kind of live in a society where people have just normalized and accepted being exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not giving your best self to your marriage or to your children or to your home. So what can you do? And like, there might be circumstances where you're healing from a disease or you're dealing with something that exhaustion is a part of it, but it can't just be accepted as your normal if there's things that you can do to prevent it. So like, are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you supplementing with your body with what they need? Are you taking care of yourself the best that you can so that you can then go out and pour as much as you can into your family?
100%.
You're obviously the more,
well, I mean, you know, even
too,
because like, I mean, even in your weight loss journey, remember, like just like getting a better mindset and actually making your physical fitness a priority. It's like, I remember how much more you felt better about who you
oh my
are
gosh,
and your
feeling good is like,
and confidence
cannot
in your
be overstated.
Skin, and, you know, just feeling better about you're doing the things like you just feel better about yourself.
And here's one thing I want to really encourage people with. I think especially women, they can feel like if they're taking care of themselves, they're being selfish.
Yeah.
And one thing that I found is that actually taking care of myself and feeling good in my own skin and in my own body actually allowed me to be a lot more selfless and a lot more humble and a lot less self-consumed, because you don't have this constant thought of like, oh my gosh, are they seeing that roll right there? Like, oh my gosh, my clothes are so tight and I'm so uncomfortable. And you're not thinking about yourself because you feel fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it really like emptied up a lot of space in my mind to actually focus on the things that matter
100%
and focus less on myself because I was less uncomfortable.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think, you know, you got to be very careful with like the I am statements, because I noticed a tendency, and I've been very conscious of this, and where you start giving yourself an identity that doesn't serve you. Where I'll give you an example. Like a dad could say, well, I'm a dad of 3 now, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just a dad of 3 now. So like, I'm a dad bod. I'm a dad bod guy. I'm a dad, right? And as soon as you claim that over your life, it's very, very hard to now take the actions to actually become more physically, what's the word I'm looking for? Physically active, healthy, just healthy, right? Same thing with moms, right? You got to be careful with statements. Oh, well, you know, I'm a mom now. You know, I'm just a mom now. I'll never have a physical fitness like I used to, right? Mm-hmm. Like these are all statements that we say because in some way we just want to take maybe the pressure off or whatever. But as soon as that identity claims your life, you're cooked.
Yeah,
like, literally cooked.
And then so you have
can
to
no longer take the actions.
You challenge yourself, and if you can look elsewhere in the world and see people that's not true for. Yeah. Right. Which a major inspiration to me was. Her maiden name was Ewelton, Megan Ewelton, but now she's Megan Freeman, I think, on Instagram.
Legit. Yeah, she's legit.
She's a mom of 3 and she's super fit and beautiful. And I was like, when I was like starting my weight loss journey, I was kind of like, man, I was telling myself those stories of like, oh, well, I'm just a mom now and I'm older and my metabolism is slowed down. But here's this woman and she's older than me and she has almost as many kids as I do. And how come it's not true for her? Like maybe, and so you kind of have to realize like, okay, maybe I'm making excuses for myself. At least I was.
Yeah, of course. We all do.
And so maybe there's something you need to get checked hormonally, or you need to be honest with yourself if maybe you're not eating as clean as you think you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe you're eating more than you realize you're eating. Like you really have to be honest with yourself, because if it's not true of everyone across the board, then it's not just a universal truth and you don't have to just accept it.
Yes. Yeah. And it could be it could be that maybe you just don't have the right education. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, like there's no real excuse to not have the right education. Like if you don't know what protein, fats, and carbs are, like you can research that. Like, oh, why do I gain weight? Like what causes weight gain? What causes me being less energetic? What causes me being more moody? And like now with the internet and like all the sources out there, it's very easy to understand like what causes what now.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I will say that I think is the holy grail when it comes to being more physically aware and just having more energy and mood and all that stuff is your environment, right? You can't have what you don't have around you, right? So it's like if you don't have the crap in the pantry, you can't have the crap.
Yeah.
If you don't have the soda, when you go to reach for the soda, you're not going to have the soda.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's always that funny meme. Like, I hate when healthy me went grocery shopping and now fat me wants a snack. And it's like,
well, what do? I don't have it. I don't have a snack, you know,
it's just not there.
And so that little trick, I think, pertains in all areas of life. And it makes your decision making that much easier, right? Because when you have to think like, well, am I going to grab the cookie or am I going to grab like whatever?
Greek yogurt.
The Greek yogurt. You're probably going to grab the cookie, and I'm probably going to grab the cookie too.
Unless it's not there.
Yeah, but if you just remove the cookie, no cookies. You just have to grab the Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
That's all that's there. So I think that's like the ultimate hack in life is just literally, how do I just clean up my environment so my environment is set for me to win? Mm-hmm. Right. And I know that like you can do this in so many different facets. One of the biggest objections to getting to the gym for most people is like they have to get ready for the gym. It's like, well, I have to get my shoes on. I have to like put gym clothes on. I have to like, what am I going to take to the gym? So it's like an environmental thing is just prepare your bag the night before. It's like, okay, I'm going to go. And I'm going to have everything set up, ready to go. So when I wake up, I have to think. I don't need to think. It's just, I'm ready to go, right? And that like reduces your cognitive load. It produces a better environment so you can just win naturally. And when you set up yourself where the only thing you can do is just win more in life, it's crazy. You just win more in life only because you change your environment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like we said, this is not about getting a six pack or, you know, I don't believe that every woman needs to be ready to compete in a bikini competition, you know?
But we all know that moving better and eating better is going to produce a better outcome in your life.
Yes. And so I think that we can make the mistake of like devaluing the importance of like physical intimacy in a marriage, right? And that's really what sets your marriage apart from all of your other, like, you know, you might be really close to your closest girlfriend. You might be really close to your mom or your sister. But what sets your marriage apart is you have this deep physical connection with your spouse that you don't have with anybody else in the world. And so it is important to prioritize that and make sure that that part of your relationship is flourishing. And I mean, I can't even tell you the stories of women I've heard that I heard the story of this woman who her husband had never seen her naked. They had children, but he had never seen her completely naked because she was just so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a good litmus test.
But your body might be the greatest gift that you give to your marriage because you're able to give your heart and your mind to so many other relationships, but you don't get to give your body to anybody else.
Yeah.
And so it's really important.
Yeah.
And obviously your physical body also is responsible for taking care of your children and taking care of your home. It's got to function well.
100%.
And it's not selfish or vain to prioritize your own health.
Yeah.
We get one life. You only get one.
Yeah. And we talk about this in multiple podcasts, but just the concept of energy, everything in life requires energy. Mm-hmm. When we want to have sex, we need energy. When we want to like discipline our kids, we need tons of energy. When we want to get up and do housework, what do you need? Energy. Mm-hmm. So it's like all day, you're utilizing energy. You only have so much energy. And then by the end of the day, what happens? You're zapped. It's like it's sucked out of you. And now you want to spend time with your husband. You want to maybe do, you know, whatever else you're going to do that night, right? But you need energy.
You need the energy.
And so it's like, it's that vital component to a marriage that I think that one word, energy, it's like, how do you have more passionate life? Just have more energy. All of a sudden, you're like more passionate about what you're doing. And it's, I don't know, it's an interesting one because I know that in my life, I ebb and flow with energy. Like, I don't know if you're very conscious of your energy throughout the day, but I am very conscious of my energy.
Well, okay. It's so funny that you say that. And this is just something you probably just wouldn't even know. But like men, you said throughout the day. So like a man's hormone cycle is pretty like consistent day to day.
But I can feel my spikes.
Right.
Yeah,
no. That's what I'm saying. Like, but you have a 24-hour cycle. I have a 30-day cycle. So like, I can definitely feel like, okay, the week before my period is a lot different than the week after my period versus the week of. So like for women, it's different. But like, I definitely throughout the month can feel like, okay, this is where I'm at in my cycle because I feel like I just want to stay home and go in a cocoon, or I want to be out in the world. It's very different.
Now, but the reason why I mention this is because I think it's important to be aware of, oh, I ate this food and I lost energy. It's like, make a mental note, like, let's not eat that. Right? Or if I did this activity and my energy just skyrocketed. Oh, make a mental note. This increases my energy. Like, we all have things that strain us and charge us. And it's like, it's important to know the difference, because you can have a better life, like just by managing that. Right.
Yeah.
And so like every day I'm trying to optimize, okay, this food made me feel this way. I don't want to eat that. Like, okay, these 3 things make me feel better. I want to do more of this. And it just slowly but surely you start optimizing your day and your energy, and I don't know. For me, it makes things better.
Yeah. Okay. So the questions you might want to write down.
I'll give you a practical example too on energy. You know what I started doing that actually helps me?
No, go ahead.
Is vitamins. So I was taking my vitamins like during the day when I wake up, I'd eat and I'd take my vitamins. And all of a sudden I noticed, like, after my vitamins, my energy goes down. So then I started saying, hey, I'm not going to take my vitamins after I eat. I take them at night before I go to bed. And that solved tons of my energy issues. I'm just an example like that. Like, I feel much better throughout the day.
That's good.
So anyways, I don't know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the questions you might want to write down to have with your spouse: how's your energy? Where are you worn down? How can I support your health? Your husband might say, hey babe, please stop buying the Oreos because I just can't help myself. Right. And then do that for him.
Yeah.
And then what's one healthy habit that we can build together?
I like it.
So our next M is money. So we had mindset, we had muscles, and now we have money. Are we aligned financially?
Yeah.
Super, super important.
Anybody, finances, man.
Yeah. So obviously in our home, Richard's more of the finance guy. But I do think it's really important as a wife, at least my role in our financial family is that, like, I have to respect our budget and like our income and I think it's really important as a wife that you're not overextending your family and just blowing past whatever boundaries your husband has put in place because you want something or because you need something or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's really where more of a traditional wife can come in and support the financial aspect of their family. Where obviously you are more of the provider, so you have more of that insight.
Yeah.
But it is really important to at least communicate it, be on the same page, and then be respectful of what that page is.
Yes. So there's a term used in finance, which is like personal finance. And oftentimes personal finance is much more personal than the finance piece. And what I mean by that is, like, in your marriage, we all see money as a different tool, right? Some, like, you might think of money as like comforting, like this is our support, right? I might look at money as like, this is how we buy things. Like, this is how we go and have a good life, right? So you get an emotional need of like comfort and safety with money. I get an emotional need of like, oh, we're going to go buy things and like feel better, right? And so the reason why I bring this up is because in our marriage, like you and I, we have really sat down and said, what do we value? Like, what does money bring us? Like, how do we want to actually go about spending our money, and why do we want to spend our money this way?
And how does it reflect the values of our family?
And then how does it reflect the values of our family? And so as me and Haley started like having these discussions, we started realizing like, oh, wait a minute, like we could use our money and go buy this, but this actually brings us no value and joy in life. Like, it's not going to make our life any better because there's no value in that.
For us.
Yeah. But, oh, wait a minute, like these areas of spending money, like every time we put $1 in here, we get so much out of that, right? And that could be experiences, that could be just health stuff that we want to put into, that could be into home things or whatever it is. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you haven't had that conversation with your spouse about what does money mean to us and what values do we want to instill with our money, I think that's an important conversation to have.
Well, and I do think that can get really tricky if you have two people with two different values, in which case, obviously, our thing is like the husband kind of dictates the direction of the family, and it's 100%. Your job as the wife to kind of support it. But I could see that would maybe be kind of tricky.
And I'll give you a perfect example. There's a guy called Ramit Sethi, right? He's a personal finance guru. He's got millions and millions of followers. But he has this framework of like spend ruthlessly on what brings you joy, but cut ruthlessly what does not bring you value, right? And so in his life, He drives a Honda Accord. To this day, he drives literally a Honda Accord, and he could afford a much better car. But he's like, I don't like cars bring me no joy. Like, I literally look at a car as just transportation from A to B. That's why I buy a car. But he's like, I love clothing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I get so much joy from going out and picking this nice brand. I feel better in it. I feel like I can conquer the world with better clothes. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I spend a crap ton of money on clothing, right? But he's like, I spend no money on my car. And so like, with me, like I'm the opposite. Like I don't give a flying fig about clothing. Like I just don't care. I will wear whatever brand. I will wear. You could bring me. I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah, the $6 Amazon.
It just brings me no joy, no value, right? Mm-hmm. But look, I do love. Like I would spend astronomically on my health and fitness. Like if there's something that's going to make me feel better, I value that. Right? I'll spend a lot on that. So it's these things that you have to start tackling in your life.
Well, and I think, okay, I want you to talk about the book that you read on the cruise that you listened to. I only listened to part of it with you, but it was so enlightening and so good. But one of the concepts that I was listening to is like actually being intentional and putting thought into what you actually want. Because a lot of people think, okay, once I make this certain amount of money, I have to go buy this new car because that's what's quote unquote expected.
Yeah.
But if you don't want the car, don't buy the car. Like actually take the time to intentionally decide what to do with your money and not just let it be dictated for you.
Yeah.
By expectation.
Yeah, that's a tough game, man. Yeah.
It's miserable. It's a losing game.
It's a losing game. And it's tricky. I mean, there's a lot to go into there. But I will say that consumerism is a deadly game.
And consume the things that you want. If you have the money for it, I'm very against debt, but if you have the the money and you want, go for it.
Yeah. But buy it because you truly value it. Not because your neighbor just got it.
Right.
Or because you want to get this thing so that everybody can say, oh my gosh, look at what Richard just got. Even though I don't even want it. But it's like, I'm doing it because I want you to notice.
That I have it.
Yeah.
That I can get this.
Yeah. And then it's like, then you start playing these games that actually start bringing you down in life. Like it doesn't bring any more value to your life.
Right.
And
then,
other than somebody's going to be jealous of you. It's like, oh, I envy what they have. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they went on this crazy vacation. Did you hear about this? And then it's like, sure enough, you spent $20,000 on your credit card, and you just did it because
So what was that book? What was it called?
It was called The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel.
Yes, that was a really good book.
It's a very, very good book. Everybody should read it. And he's got this psychology of money as well, which is actually an extremely good book. But it's fascinating how much of your money behaviors are psychologically based. They're not. Finances is simple, right? It's like save more and probably spend less on things that don't matter, right? It's like not very hard concept. Same as like fitness, eat more, move more, or eat less, move more.
Yeah.
But it's so psychological. And how do you think about these things? And that's what the book covers.
Yeah. And there's another book called The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Yes.
Who's that one by?
That one's by T. Harvey
Eckert.
Yeah, T. Harvey Eckert. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good book too. But how we choose to spend money, that has zero value to anybody. But it is important that you sit down with your spouse and talk about how you as a family are going to spend your money. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
So the questions for this M are, do we both know where our money is going? Is there anything stressing you financially? And what is one financial goal we're excited about?
Yes.
And men, I can't tell you how important it is to articulate that vision for your wife. So make sure that what is one financial goal that we're excited about? Make sure you can answer that question. And don't just be like, oh, I don't know, babe. What do you think? If you're the husband, come to a table with an answer to that question. I promise you your wife will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Our next M is probably the most obvious M of all of them. This is our fourth M, and that is marriage.
Marriage.
Obviously, we are a marriage podcast. We love marriage. But I think a lot of times people can think they're talking about marriage because they're talking about the logistics. They're talking about their schedules. They're talking about their kids. But they're not actually talking about their marriage. You know what I mean? And so then you kind of fall into this roommate, ships in the night. You go this way, I'll go that way. But you're not building any more of a deep, intimate connection.
Yep.
With your husband.
And we have been there and felt that and really, and I think I felt it the most when we quit my job. when we started the gym, when we started going in debt, we started getting really busy because we're like, dude, we got to figure out how to make this all work. We're popping out kids, and you were breastfeeding 3 at a time or 2 at a time. I was trying to make things happen. And it's just like, we felt like there was just what are we talking about here? And so it actually wasn't until we started a practice, right? You want to talk about the practice that we started?
Yeah. So at the time it was a physical book called The Marriage Journal. And it was really, really impactful for our marriage. So we used to sit down every Thursday night with a cup of tea, and we would have this little journal that we actually still have to this day. It's like a keepsake.
Yeah.
And it would have just like a quick little devotion, and then the same 7 questions every week. And
7 questions.
And we would sit down and just talk about it and write it down. And it was really, really, really helpful for us.
It was very helpful. And like, give some examples of questions. It was like,
so what I'll say is that because of that practice and because it was so impactful for us, we knew when we started this ministry, if you want to call it that,
100%.
That we wanted to create something like that, but make it a little bit more accessible and a little bit easier.
100%.
So that was one of the very first products we ever created with this quote unquote brand was Spark Check-In.
Spark Check-In, yeah.
And that is basically the same concept, but it's all virtual. It's an app on your phone, and you answer it on your own, your spouse answers it on their own, you submit it, and then you get together and you talk about it. And it will it's integrated with AI to kind of like go over, okay, this is where you were last week, this is where your spouse is, here's where we need to talk, whatever.
Yeah.
And so some of the questions are just like, how's our sex life?
Yeah.
What can I do to help you? How can I pray for you?
Yeah.
How's our communication?
Like how are we communicating together? Yeah.
So it's nothing groundbreaking, but just stuff that you have to sit and talk about.
Stuff that you just don't talk about.
And it can be that like steady drip that like, it's not a big deal. I'm going to we'll get over it. But then you do that so many times, and you've got so much dust under the rug that it's like, now you've got a mountain in the middle of your rug. You know what I mean? You got to talk about things.
And here's the crazy part with that whole episode that you just talked about right now is there's a lot of resources in marriage that say, okay, here's what you do after it falls apart.
Here's how you fix things.
Here's how you fix your marriage. Here's how you fix your communication. Here's how you fix the broken financial stuff. But then it's like what Spark does, or what this practice does, it's a preemptive measure. It's like, wait a minute, instead of fixing things, let's just do this.
Let's not let it get there.
So we don't have to fix.
Yeah.
We'll just do the stuff now, right? And so I think that's the power of this, like what we're talking about with marriage, Spark Check-In. It's like, how do we preemptively take the measurements in our marriage every day?
Every week.
To like not let that happen. And it's like, oh, it's just a weight off your chest. You're like, oh, we talked this week. We actually know where we stand.
Yeah.
You know?
So like as a husband, if you're like really unsatisfied with your sex life, you're not having to let that go for years, because the question comes up every week.
Yeah. How's our sex life? Yeah. And then your wife might put like a 5, like, oh, it's going great. And then the husband might put like a 2. And then you're like, wait, you put a 5, I put a 2. Why are we so far off? I thought we're having like sex once a week. Isn't that good? You're like, yeah, but I want to have sex like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? I didn't know that. Like, so
then you have to talk about things. It's good.
Yeah, 100%.
It's really good. Okay, so the questions for this obviously our first recommendation is get Spark Check-In, because you'll get these questions once a week. They come to your inbox. That's the easiest way to do it. But if you just want to write these down, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how connected do you feel? What's made you feel loved recently? What is something quietly hurting us? I love that question because I think it's so important. It's the quiet hurt that matters.
Yeah.
And 100%. What's one thing that we could improve?
Yeah, that's good.
Those are the questions. Now, just a quick recap. We went over mindset. We went over muscles. We went over money. We went over marriage. Our 5th M.
So if you were to summarize the marriage really quick, so that segment is just what? Like, how would you kind of put a bow on that?
I would put it mostly on like your intimate connection with your spouse, and not just sexually, but like the intimate, like, are we actually talking about what we want, what we think, what we like, what we our desire, where we're trying to go? Like, are we actually having these conversations, or are we just dealing with the logistics of our life? Because I could talk about the logistics of my life with my ChatGPT, and they're actually pretty good at it. But I can't have an intimate connection
Logistics meaning what? Like, oh, what time are we picking up the kids today?
What's our schedule? How do we get there? Where's this kid's practice?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Oh, yeah. Hey, how's your buddy at work? Or
that even might be more detailed. That might be more
detailed, but that's the logistical stuff. Yeah,
it's the logistics.
I got you. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so our last M is mission.
Mission, baby.
And that is where are we going? What is our life? What is our goal? What is our family value? Husbands, this is a big one for you guys because this is where leadership comes in, right? Yeah. You need to be able to articulate this for your wife.
Yeah.
What kind of family are we? What do we value? So Rich and I, years and years and years ago, sat down and we
But it was because of this practice. Like we didn't but I know. Yeah.
Well, so we sat down. We wrote down the 4 pillars of the Mugica family, and what are the 4 pillars that our family stands on?
Yeah, that's right.
And our pillars are going to be very different from someone else's, but to actually sit down and have that conversation, what do we value? Fun, generosity, encouragement, learning, education, teaching, whatever those things are for you.
Those things are. Yeah.
But know what they are, so that way. It's called pre-sighting, right? So whenever you're faced with the decision, instead of having the decision fatigue of having to every time be like, oh, should we go to this baseball tournament or should we go to church? It's like, no, our family has pre-sighted that church comes first. Yeah. And we're not going to the baseball tournament if it's on a Sunday.
100%.
Or whatever that is for your family. But take away as much decision fatigue as you can by knowing what your values are.
That's smart.
And then so whenever a question comes up, you can go back to your values.
Yep.
And so if my value is raising good, godly children who love the Lord and know the Lord, then, okay, I'm going to make sure that when we do our homeschool, we're focusing on Bible before we focus on anything else, because I want them to know the Word and I want them to love the Word. And you know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
But just making those precisions.
Yeah. That was a big one for our family. And then I remember too, the first time that we ever talked about oh, hey, where do we want to be in 5 years? That was a radical question because we never considered it. I never thought about it, especially when you're in the thick of things and you're like, well, I'm just trying to pay my Spectrum bill on Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't think out, let alone a week, imagine 5 years. But the magic in thinking out 5 years is that once you and your spouse talk about it, you build this dream together, right? And then once you build a dream together and you guys are both on the same page and you're talking about it, it gets you it gives you a North Star. And you start taking more of the actions to reverse engineer the life that you guys actually set out to accomplish together. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that the destination is the goal. What I'm saying is that the journey is the goal. Having that journey together of oh, we're trying to do this. This is what our marriage is pointing towards in this next 5 years, right? And that fun season of life of where it's hey, this is what we're building towards.
Yeah.
And I don't know if very many marriages get to really talk about that stuff or, these things.
And I don't think you can overstate the value of a man stepping up as a leader in that role.
Yeah.
And what the confidence that can give your wife and the way, I just think that's really, really important.
Well, yeah, because now the wife can see how the man is thinking about the situation, how he's thinking about how are we going to do it, what's the game plan, what's the strategy, right? And so that gives the wife confidence of knowing oh, my husband has stuff he's wanting to accomplish, and here's the plan, and here's the mission that we have as a family. Yeah. So it gives the woman, I feel just confidence of, oh, this is what my man is doing,
And he has a goal. He's not just floundering, because floundering is terrifying.
100%.
Nobody wants to flounder. And I think women especially, we need something to anchor into, or else we will take the leadership role and we don't really want it and we're not very good at it and we're not designed for it. We really want you to take it, but if you don't, I will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So show me that you have a goal. Show me that you have somewhere you want to go. And I'll anchor into that.
Yes.
And a good wife can help you get there so much faster than having to do it on your own or having to pull the weight of your wife because you never communicated to her what it was.
Yeah. That was a game changer for us.
Oh, huge.
The hard part is I feel the hardest part is actually setting the vision. That's the hard part. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people are well, I don't know what I want. Oh, what if I want the wrong thing? I don't know if this is the right direction for us. So you start overcomplicating it instead of just saying, hey, this sounds cool. Let's do this.
It's not even so much this is the house we want or this is where we want to be. It's hey, we as a family want freedom. So what does that look like? It's more so finding the big value that your family has.
100%.
Not the thing that your family wants. That's unimportant. It's the value that you have to articulate.
Well, I think a good practice that we thought about is what does the perfect day look like? Mm-hmm. And if you can reverse engineer your perfect day and you're man, that was a great day. And then you're well, what made that day great? You're like, oh, we did these 3 activities. And then you're like, how do I just do these 3 activities like every day?
Yeah.
You know? And so like, I don't know. To me, it's as simple as that. Like, what does a great day look like? And the more you can stack those days, you're probably going to have a better life, you know? But sometimes you just don't think about it. I don't know what a great day looks like. You know?
Yeah.
And then the second thing that's going to happen, you're like, well, that's not realistic. I can never have this. That's what I was going to say. I can never have this day over and over. But then that's where your mindset comes in, right? Like that, you're thinking about it wrong. It's not about, oh, that's unrealistic. It's just, what do I need to do to make that happen?
Yeah. And it's not, it's like, this is kind of, I'm saying the same thing in a different way, but like, it's not about, okay, we need to be in Italy every day. Because that's unrealistic, that's right? Every day is not vacation. Plus, that'll get boring
too. I mean, you know.
Of course. Yeah. And every day can't be vacation. Sometimes whatever. But it's more so, okay, we were in Italy or we were wherever we were. But the main overarching value is, we were together. Yeah. Right? We were together as a family. So that's part of our perfect day. Okay, we got a lot of physical activity. Okay, maybe that's part of our perfect day.
Yes.
So like, what is the overarching value, not the individual thing?
Yes.
If that makes sense. Yeah. I'm saying the same thing again. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you an example of like my perfect day. The 3 things that make my day like perfect is I learn something new. I love, like, if I learn something new in a day, I love that. B, I spend time with my family. And C, I do some type of physical activity. If I do those 3 things, like, that is my perfect day. And I want to decide when I do those things. And if I can do that over and over and over, I will be, I love that day.
Yeah.
And it's not very, like, it's not like a lot. Like, I'm not saying I have to go to Disneyland every day. It's like these 3 things make my day really good.
Yeah. And if Disneyland is your perfect day, like, try to scale that back to like, what is the value within that Disneyland day that made it my perfect day?
100%.
You know, it might not have been Disneyland itself. It might have just been whatever it was. You got to examine that for yourself.
For sure. Yeah.
I know, like, my dad, I think our dad's generation always kind of used to say things like, hey, you don't have to, you go to work, you don't have to like your job, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And that was kind of their mindset. And maybe that was reality for that time, but it doesn't, like, I just want to encourage people that it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, you might actually be able to do something you really love, and you might actually be able to love your life. You know, like, I feel sad sometimes when I look back and I know my dad hated what he did, but he just felt like he had to do it. And he probably really did for that generation. But we don't live that way anymore necessarily.
100%.
So maybe.
Yeah.
So just food for thought.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so the questions that go along with mission are: what kind of family do we want to become? What do we hope our children remember? And what does success look like for us? Oh my gosh, I got this comment on a reel a couple days ago, and it was this guy talking about how, like, the most successful guys in the world are divorced or whatever. And I was like, I think you and I might define success very differently, because success to me is not a monetary value, right? That's success is like, are we happily married? Do our kids know and love the Lord and love each other?
Yeah.
That's success to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, okay, if we're looking at a monetary value, some of the wealthiest men in the world are divorced, sure. But that's not success to me. So actually take the time to, like, what does success look like for us?
Yeah, for us. And that's the beauty with that question, is it looks different for everybody.
Yeah. But if you're not careful, and if you don't decide and actually think about what does it look like for us, culture is going to tell you what it looks like, and it's not going to be anything that you actually wanted.
100%. Yeah, and that's the recipe for a miserable life.
And that's how you end up divorced with a lot of money in your bank account. Like, who freaking cares?
Well, the guy that says that's successful.
I don't think anybody thinks that's successful. I think people are...
The problem with that definition of success, it's ungodly. So it's like, if your definition of success is against the biblical, the Bible, then that's the wrong definition.
Yes. Well, it's ungodly, but it's also very unfulfilling.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, you're kind of chasing an empty treasure chest at that point. It's like, what do you want that for? You know?
But again, some people might want that.
I don't think so.
You know,
I think some people think that they want that because that's what society has told them they should want.
Yeah.
But if they actually thought about, okay, I'm going to get to the treasure chest and I'm going to open it and it's going to be empty and I'm going to feel super deflated, would they still choose to pursue that? Probably not.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to choose to pursue the empty chest, right?
Can't take it when you leave.
Can't take it with you.
You know what I read? There's actually 100% statistic on this. 1 out of 1 people die. So, like, that's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
There's coming a time.
100% of people die, and that's coming. Well, yeah, until Brian Johnson's trying to live forever.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more so about the rapture. But
well, then it's like,
there is a generation that will never die, but we don't know when that'll be.
Dang, that'd be crazy if that was us, huh?
No, it would be crazy. Yeah, so that was the 5 M's. So I'm going to do a quick rapid fire for you, babe. I like doing the rapid fire for you. Are you ready? Which M comes most naturally to us? Which of the 5 M's?
I wrote it down. Most naturally?
Yes. Which one comes most naturally to us?
I would say marriage.
Okay.
I would say marriage. I only say that because our marriage has been pretty smooth sailing for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't say that about our money. Muscle, I mean, that's been pretty, mindset,
for you, that's
no, not very smooth sailing, and mission for sure not. So the one that's been very stable though has been marriage.
Okay. Which one do you feel like we've neglected? Probably different ones at different seasons.
Different ones in different seasons. I mean, in the beginning, I neglected money, mindset, and mission in the beginning. Recently, I would say that the one that I've actually put more on the back burner that I was really dedicated to once I found out was mindset. I don't do that much more like mindset work anymore. And I've put that on the back burner. Like that's the one that I've neglected a lot lately, but I felt like I've done so much work up until this point, and I'm maybe getting too comfortable there. I might have to re-spark that up.
But, yeah. Okay. Which one would you say creates the most conflict for us?
Well, I mean, maybe just overall marriage. I mean, meaning like out of these categories, money, no, fitness, no, mindset. I mean, mission, not really, but our marriage is so dynamic, right? We have so many things going on in the marriage, kids, this, in-laws, that. So if we're ever going to have an argument or like a discussion, it would probably be in the marriage. I don't think it'd be any other categories.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe money.
Maybe money? You think so? Possibly? Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe money. Occasionally some things about money.
Yeah.
Haley likes Amazon.
I do like Amazon.
We all love Amazon. That's why you got to buy
But I will say, I don't go to Target and I don't go to Walmart. I just, Amazon's my...
No, you're pretty good. Spending wise, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
We're actually both kind of, I would say, savers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We value like the peace and security over...
We do.
Over 100%, material.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. And which has changed the most since becoming parents? That's an interesting question.
Oh, for sure. For me, mindset, mission, and money. Those, I mean, radically changed me. Because as soon as I had kids, I was like, dude, I got to do something. Like, I got to make something work, So then I started learning, and then I'm like, well, I need more money because we're having like tons of kids. And
we only have 4. It's not tons.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, in order to have money, we need some type of mission. So those kids radically changed those 3 for me. Yeah. Me personally.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, man, they changed everything.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that's left untouched.
And
by
marriage,
kids.
obviously. The marriage obviously changed a lot. But
yeah. Well, and maybe not as much for you, but that's so funny.
But not as much for me.
But I mean, the muscle or like health.
Oh,
like that radically changed wrecked for me.
Yeah.
It didn't wreck me.
No, not wrecked you, but it changes everything.
But like everything. Women should know, like, man, I have stretch marks on my stomach, and like I will never look like I did when I was 23 ever again. And like, there's kind of like a mental piece of like being okay with that, and also challenging yourself to be better. Like it's a weird juxtaposition you have to live in.
Well, you can only control the controllables. So like stretch marks, you can't change that unless you do the surgery or whatever. But if you can't change it, why think about it? It's like, dude, I can't change that. But you can change what you eat. You can change, so.
Yeah, so you're saying that was like the one thing that was left kind of untouched for you, and that was like one thing that was really radically changed for me. But
yeah, 100%.
That's the different experiences of men and women, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was a really good one. That was fun.
Yeah. So hey guys, one thing that would be lovely is the biggest thing that you could do for Haley and I is just share the podcast. If you think it would help another couple, another marriage grow in the relationship with Jesus, relationship with each other, please share it. And that would mean the world to us. And then on top of that, if you're looking to grow your marriage, want to have a better marriage, we have some marriage resources down below. Spark check-in if you want to sign up for that. We have the prayer challenge, which I think over 20,000 people have done, and some more marriage resources for you to improve your marriage.
Very good.
Stuff that Haley and I probably could have used too early on.
I think we're all done here. Thank you guys so much for being here, as always. Babe, thanks for taking time out of your busy life to do this with me.
Oh, I know.
A little passion project we got.
So busy.
You are. You're a busy guy. All right. Love you.
All right. Love you. Bye.